and more rain. Woo. Open space and views and yeah, this is so beautiful. This is the magic of long distance hiking for me. A hiker's dream just shows that it's not always the landscape or the surroundings that make a place special. There's really all kinds of fields on today's stretch. This hasn't been the best morning.
Hi, my name is Elli. I'm a long-distance hiker and backpacker. Enjoying a cup of coffee with a view is my absolute happy place. And this is Otto, an adopted stray dog, crisps lover, and the best hiking companion. Come join us as we explore the great outdoors, one trail at a time. In summer of 2024, Otto and I embarked on one of England's most famous long-distance hikes, Wainwright's Coast to Coast, a 192-mile-long walk across England from west to east. This is part 4. Come along for days 9 to 11 that saw us hiking from Richmond to Dunby Wisk and onto Lordstones.
Good morning everyone on day 9 on the Coast to Coast walk. We had a good night at the campsite. It was a bit noisy from the cattle in the barn, so yeah, that was that. I initially wanted to sleep in a little bit to give Otto a little break because we have an easier day, shorter day today, but I don't know what it is about farms, but whenever we're around farmland there's always like some shooting noises going on. In this case probably from like those machines that are designed to scare away like crows and birds, I think. Obviously Otto doesn't know that and he's terrified of shooting noises, so he was already shaking in the tent, didn't want to get out. Now he's just either freezing or running away from the noise. I really hope it doesn't go on for too long because I had to carry him a little bit already. You can really see how stressed he is. It's just pulling to get away. That's always my worst nightmare, hearing a sound, and I've been like a lot of sounds this morning. It's just poof, poof, poof. It is what it is. That's just something you have to deal with if you're hiking with a dog that was a stray dog and has been shot when he was a puppy. It's just, it's impossible to get rid of, obviously. And it's just his instinct, which isn't a bad thing if you hear a shooting noise, to like seek shelter and hide somewhere and not continue walking around in an open space. But that was our morning so far. So yes, this hasn't been the best morning. Oh, shit. But still I'm trying to make the best of it. And as I said, it's only a short walk, about 10 kilometers to go to Richmond, and then I'm going to have a coffee and a break. Let's go! This reminds me of the Offarsdyke path. Apparently there's a little honesty shop in the church. Look at that. This is such a nice thing to do. Wow. The only thing that's missing is a kettle. It's been a rough morning, so why not start with a lemonade and some crisps. Oh, this has been a bit scary walking past them, but luckily they've stopped now. Whew. Only about 2.5 kilometers left to go to Richmond and to a lunch break and a coffee. The terrain gets a little flatter now and less moorland and more farmland. I think this means that we're out of the Yorkshire Dales now. So far the weather has been holding out. It's supposed to rain later today, but we only have a couple of kilometers left after Richmond, so I think we'll be fine. It's just a bit windy, so I hope we'll find something that's a bit sheltered for tonight. I'm planning to wild camp in a pub garden. There's a quote from Wainwright. Richmond is a town unlike others, a place unique, rich in relics of the past, steeped in a long history. We've walked 113 miles and only 76, just over 76 miles to go. Woohoo! I don't know much about Richmond yet, so once I'm there and once I got a coffee and when I'm sitting down somewhere, I think I'm going to read a little bit on it, because I can already see there's some sort of castle which looks really cool. So yeah, so interesting to explore all these places and little villages and towns. This is really so cute. Dogs are actually allowed in the castle, so I thought I would take the opportunity and visit. This is actually very interesting because the castle is almost 1000 years old. It was built in the 11th century by Alan Rufus, a cousin of William the Conqueror. It was built as a castle fortress to establish his power over the territory, and I read it's one of the best preserved and most complete Norman fortresses in England, which is incredible. It's so stunning that it's been here for almost 1000 years. Wow, this is so interesting to think about all the history, everything that was going on. This is such an interesting place. I actually studied history at university, so this is so interesting. I really love exploring these old historic sites. Some stress relief after the very hard morning for Otto. It was quite a big castle. Look at that. It's enormous. This really is a very cute little town. Oh, so cool. I'm really impressed. It's such a cute little town, and the castle is really impressive. So much history, so interesting, and a lot of old houses too. And yeah, it was just a really nice spot, just exploring the town a little bit. And now we're on our last 3.5 kilometers to get to Colburn. apparently there's a really nice pub there that allows coast-to-coast walkers to camp in the garden. It's not been a very long day today. I think in total only about 10 miles, not even, but after the long days we've had, I think this is going to be quite nice, especially because Otto is still a bit stressed out from the shooting noises this morning, so I think this will be really nice for him just to have a really good rest. We've made it! I think this over there, yeah, that's the pub I'm headed. This is it, the end of day 9 on the coast to coast. We didn't do much. I just spent the afternoon resting. Unfortunately, the pub is not doing food tonight, so I had something from my dehydrated meals, but I had a drink and now I'm just resting a little bit. Otto is asleep, and I think it's also a good decision to end this day a bit earlier and give him a really good rest. Today hasn't been the most exciting day, I feel like, starting with the shooting noise and Otto being totally stressed, and then it wasn't the most scenic walk ever, but it was okay. It was easy walking, and exploring Richmond was really nice, really interesting. I'm excited for tomorrow. I think it's probably going to be similar to today, like mainly going over fields. It's all part of the hike, so see you then. Good night. This was our spot last night in the pub garden. That's the pub over there. It was so sheltered. The wind was supposed to be like 65 kilometers per hour, but this provided a really good shelter. Good morning everyone, on day 10 of the coast to coast walk. Otto and I slept in a little bit. It's already 9 o'clock and we just set off. We had a really relaxed, uneventful afternoon and evening yesterday. It was raining a bit, just seeing the raindrops on the tent, but without any fear of the tent being flooded or blown away. It was just, there wasn't much, and unfortunately pub didn't do food yesterday in the evening, but it was just so nice just resting in the tent for a bit, not worrying about rain, about wind, about whatever. And now we're on our next stretch, basically the stretch between Richmond and Ingleby Cliff. That's about 30 kilometers. Is a lot of hikers of the coast to coast walk don't seem to like it that much because it's apparently not that scenic. I think most goes over field and also is almost completely level. I think on the entire stretch today there's only about 50 meters of ascent, so it's basically flat. But I'm really looking forward to it, especially on a longer hike like this one. It's sometimes hard if every day is like spectacular and there's always something to see, there's always like big climbs. I think this is a really nice change, just a bit of easier walking, and really looking forward to it. I'm not going to hike all the way to Ingleby Cliff because I want to stop at Dunby Whisk, which apparently is a really nice campsite, and everyone keeps telling me how great the place is, and apparently there's even like washer and dryer, which would be great. Maybe meet other hikers there because I didn't see anyone in a tent for several days now. We'll once again have a shorter day. It's only about 10 miles, so let's go! Some vitamins to start the day. Look at that, I didn't even know about that, but apparently you can come in for a cup of tea and toilets. Ooh, wow, this is a beautiful church. Wow. Oh, look at that, this is so nice. And there's a kettle, yay! Wow, this is so nice. I really like exploring old churches. This is so interesting, such a beautiful old church. I just had a coffee and put on another layer of sunscreen, and now we're on our way again. That was such a beautiful little spot, and I really feel like this is the magic of long distance hiking for me. Even on a day like this, where like the guidebook or other hikers say, yeah, it's not the most beautiful stretch, there's not much, but then you find a beautiful little spot to explore. Like this beautiful church where you can get a coffee and just rest and explore the place a little bit. This is so special that there are oftentimes these little places that you didn't even know about until you're there. This is my favorite thing ever. Instead of going through a field with cattle, that there's a little verge on the side behind the fence. I mean, so far I didn't have any problems with cows. On the coast to coast they all seem pretty used to hikers, obviously. But still, this is so nice if landowners, farmers do that. It just makes things a bit easier, which is really appreciated. There's really all kinds of fields on today's stretch. Only about 1 kilometer left to go, which is really nice. I'm so excited to go to the campsite, to make myself a coffee, take a shower, maybe wash a couple of my clothes. Just have a really good rest. I hope it's a bit wind sheltered because it's still quite gusty. This is so nice, and honestly it wasn't a boring day at all. I mean, it wasn't that spectacular as other days, but still it's been a really nice walk. It's been really nice just making some quicker progress, doing some easier walking. This is nice, like a sign basically to see what's open for people. This is our spot for tonight, and look at that, there's an entire field just for coast to coast hikers. And then look at that, a hiker stream. There's dryer and washing machine, kettle, microwave, tea, coffee, a fridge, a seating area, chairs that you can borrow. Then there's takeaway menus that deliver to the campsite, outlets to charge your things, There's even a hiker box. This is so nice, and you have this covered seating area. Would be so great if all campsites were like this. This is so nice. And then look at that. Postcards, book exchange, eggs from the farm, fruit, crisps, ice cream. I'm definitely getting a vegan ice cream now, and yeah, this is just so perfect. This is dinner tonight. My favorite Yule pasta. And I got a lemonade from the Honesty Shop and crisps. And look at that. At the Honesty Shop they had eggs from their own hens, so I bought one and boiled it. That's for Otto to have as a snack tomorrow. He will be so happy. It's quite windy and cold, but it's been such a beautiful day. It didn't rain at all, and now I'm going to have my dinner and then go for a little evening walk with Otto to explore the old church, which is just over there, just behind the campsite. Unfortunately, still no other coast-to-coast hikers. At the beginning there weren't that many options to camp probably, and now you can either do like really long days or a bit shorter days like we have done yesterday and today. So I don't know, it's a bit sad. Ooh, that's a beautiful church. And look at the sky, it's the perfect evening. I really like these old English churches. This is the end of day 10 of our coast-to-coast hike. We spent the most relaxing afternoon at the campsite. It's such a beautiful little village. There isn't much, there's just the pub and a beautiful old church and the campsite. But it's just such a welcoming place. There are no like groups and loud music, just a couple of camper vans, completely quiet and peaceful, and the campsite is so great. The showers were incredible, and yeah, the little kitchen area, everything is so well thought out and well catered for hikers, so it's just the perfect spot. I'm so happy I got here. Tomorrow I'm going to head in the next and last of the 3 national parks on the coast-to-coast walk, which is the North York Moors National Park. And yeah, I think we'll climb up a little bit, like basically onto the moors. I hope it's not going to be very windy, because that's like the biggest issue for me, I think, for the next couple of days, like for setting up the tent, because obviously the moors are more exposed. So I don't know, it's probably not going to be easy to find a sheltered spot, but we'll see. For now I'm just going to enjoy my nighttime tea, because it's quite cold, and share a little bag of crisps with Otto, and then we'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Time to leave this beautiful little place. Good morning everyone! On day 11 of the Coast to Coast walk, Otto and I had a really great night. The wind dropped a little bit, so it wasn't too loud with the tent flapping in the wind. I don't know, there's just something, in my opinion, very special about this place. Maybe because I read everywhere that it's kind of boring, and apparently Wainwright himself, when he devised the route, said that Dunby whisk was less attractive than its name. I think this just shows that it's not always the landscape or the surroundings that make a place special, but also the people and how welcome they make you feel. And I don't know, it's just everything in the little village is so well maintained. There are signs what to visit and where the pub is and when it opens, and about the campsite, which in itself is the perfect place for a hiker. So honestly, I was intentionally splitting the distance between Richmond and Ingleby so that I could stay at the campsite, and it was so worth it. I mean, it was a bit of a shame that I didn't meet any other hikers, but the lady who runs the campsite told me that, like, in general, there's over the summer like 3 coast-to-coast hikers staying there every night. So I think it's a good place to meet others. And I read a bit more on the old church, which apparently dates from the 11th century. It has elements that date back from the Norman time. Also, fun fact about Dunby Whisk, it's the lowest point on the entire walk. It sits at only 35 meters above sea level. As you can probably tell, I really liked the little village. And now Otto and I just set off. We slept in a little bit and are on our way to Ingleby Cross now. And then after that we're entering the 3rd national park on the Coast to Coast walk. So let's go! It's almost like a maze. Ooh, look at that! I don't know if you can see the hills over there in the far back, but I think that's the beginning of the moors. So that's where I'm headed to basically go up there. We are almost halfway into today's stretch and we've almost made it to Ingleby Cross. And from what I can see on Google Maps, there's a coffee shop and little cafe in Ingleby. So I think I'm going there for a lunch break. It's quite windy and it's not very warm, but still it's perfect for hiking. It's a bit cloudy and sunny in between. The only thing, same for the past couple of days, is always hoping that I will find a shelter spot to put up the tent in the evening, but apart from that, it's really great. I can't believe how lucky we've been with the weather overall. There was just like one day of drizzle and one day of like horrendous, horrible rain. But other than that, it's been really nice. I'm so happy that we've been this lucky. Ooh, this is the spot where I have to cross the motorway. I hope it's not too hard. It looks a bit scary, and apparently with the trail becoming a national trail, there should be a footbridge. I think it's this place where the footbridge should be built, but right now it's not there yet. We've completed the a bit tedious flat section between Richmond and Ingleby, and now we're entering the North York Moors National Park. That was a really nice lunch break. The coffee was so good and I had a great sandwich, and they have a lot of vegan options, like even vegan cake, vegan sandwiches, vegan soup of the day. Definitely one of my favorite stops on the coast to coast so far. And now I'm refueled for the last 8 miles. I think it's about 12.5 kilometers to get to Lord Stones, where there's a campsite, and apparently it's quite sheltered in some wooded areas. "132 miles done and only 48 miles left to go." and only about 1500 meters of ascent, or even less. Wow, this is so cool. We're getting so close now. Another national trail, the Cleveland Way, that crosses here. Oh, nice. That's also one that I would love to do. You can see the Pennines over there, and this flat bit, this is where we've walked for the last 2.5 days. We're climbing up to the moors. Look at how purple the heather is. Wow, this is gorgeous. Ooh, and there's even a trick point. I'm just seeing it now. That's Beacon Hill up here. Oh, this is beautiful. This is so nice to be in a more like open space, and even though it's quite exposed obviously, but the weather is not bad today, so this is so nice not to go over like farmland style skates all the time, but just to have this more open space and views, and yeah, this is so beautiful. This is so nice. It just started to rain, but perfect timing. We're under the trees to get my waterproofs on and also to have a little break. Time for Otto's snack. Only about 3 miles left to go, little under 3 miles. It's raining quite a bit, but I'm still under the trees, but we'll start our last climb for today to go up to the moors again. And yeah, hopefully the rain will stop later so that I can set up the tent in the dry. Ooh, bit more wind and more rain. Woo. Not long now, just to get up this hill, which sits at 400 meters, and then we're heading down the other side. I initially wanted to white camp, but as you can see, it's quite exposed. There's literally no shelter, and there are really strong winds, which will become even stronger during the night, so I really need something a bit more sheltered to have a good night's sleep. And there's a campsite just behind that hill, which is Lord Stone's country park, and apparently from what I've heard, it's quite sheltered in a wooded area, so I'm going there and hopefully don't have these heavy winds there, because it's supposed to get like 70-75 kilometers per hour, which is obviously very tough for the tent. And even if nothing happens with the tent, obviously you don't get the best sleep. The second part of today was a bit more hilly, as you can see. That's where we came from, down there, going up and down again and then up again. It's been not the hardest day, but still quite tough. 26, I think, kilometers. So yeah, I think we both need some rest. I think I can already see the campsite, which is in there, in this little wooded area down there. All closed again, but apparently there should be a box. Ah yeah, these are, ah yeah, that's for me. I wonder if there's anyone else here. Probably not, I don't know, but we'll see. We made it to the campsite and this is our spot for tonight. Luckily it's very sheltered, but still obviously the wind in the trees is quite noisy. This is the end of day 11. It was a nice day. It started with some beautiful sunshine and easy walking, and yeah, the second part of the day was a bit harder in the high winds and in the rain, and it's so dark now already, even though it's only 8 o'clock. The sun hasn't even set yet, but it's so, I don't know, it's so dark and feels a bit weird, and also it's really, really loud. There's so much wind in the trees, so yeah, I hope we will get a good night's sleep, but still overall, yeah, I'm really happy that it only rained for a little bit. We have made some good progress. There's only about 60 kilometers now left to go, so 2.5 days for us probably. I'm heading to Blakey Ridge tomorrow. We'll see you then. Good night!